Alrighty, so since the last version of this video that I did, we've had a pretty decent uptick in character, just the amount of characters that we've gotten over on the global as well as the JP side of things. So what I want to do in this video is go over the top 10 LRs currently in Dokkan. Obviously, this is my list, just my opinion, all that fun stuff. So don't take it too serious, and please keep in mind that I really feel like a lot of these spots are very interchangeable. The only one that I'm, like I said, even number one at this point, I feel like is interchangeable, which is kind of crazy to say considering, you know, we were just talking about like a few weeks ago how Beast Gohan's probably going to be number one for a very long time, and now we have a dethroning or a contention. I'll let you find out at the end of the video. So, top 10 LRs, keep in mind that EZAs are going to be included with this with LRs. LR EZAs are not above the level of the premium summonable LRs that we have now. And really, I could throw in some like honorable mentions and stuff like that, but really it's going to be close, right? So quickly, some characters that did not, or a character that did not make the top 10, who I think easily could be in the top 10, I think is this LR Gohan. LR Gohan, it's really tough to evaluate how I feel about that character, and that is really just the presence of the movie bosses team right now, and how Majin Power is a little bit like it's in a weird spot, right? Where the team is obviously great, but just the way that new content is formatted, I think it's tough, right? Like I'm having trouble evaluating that character. Like I said, if you want to put him at 10, I easily feel like you could, but just keep in mind, like I said, I think that character is going to make an honorable mention for me. But let's go ahead and get started. And at number 10, I know some of y'all aren't going to like this, but this is just my opinion, right? Like, don't take it too serious. I have Superhero Orange Piccolo. I'm sure you guys know how this character works at this point. Superhero Orange Piccolo takes away super attacks, does all that fun stuff, has guard, has support, builds up his defense. The biggest flaw to this character right now is that he needs to get hit to build up. So, you know, as time goes on and these bosses start to hit harder, the sort of like need to get hit condition that he has is going to be a little bit harder to maintain, and this is going to incline people to want to do like a dodge build for this character. But in my opinion, I don't think a dodge build is optimal for this character because, again, you want to take those hits because he is also giving all allies key +2 when he receives an attack. So keep that in mind. I'm trying to make sure that my face cam isn't blocking everything, but we have like I said, we have the support, we have all of the stuff, the full heal when we get to this point, and he needs to take 7 attacks, by the way, to get that. So please keep that in mind. So I think that this character, just with the ability to take away supers and stuff like that, is going to be super important. And you guys have heard me, you know, do this mumbo jumbo like 1,000 times now. But why is this character back in the top 10 over Gohan, you might be asking? Well, the answer is pretty simple. This character, when we considered Gohan above him 2 weeks ago, did not have a 154% defensive buff. That is now present with the addition of the Super Saiyan Trio. So obviously that is going to help out this character a considerable amount. So that is why I have them back up at number 10, because those defensive numbers have went up massively. So that is going to help this character. Is he just going to be able to slot one, just like face tank supers from some of these harder hitting bosses? No, but I think he is back, and I also don't think Gohan can do so either. So that is why I have this character at number 10. Let's move on to number 9, and that is going to be our boy Gogeta. Now, Gogeta Blue, I'm sure you guys know how this character works at this point. We stack our defense on the 18 key, we transform, we have all types of offensive output, we have additional supers out the wazoo, we have attacks effective against all types. We'll pull up the passive here. You can see we randomly are changing orbs. We're a rainbow orb changer. We work very well with the BROLY trio where we can use them. We work well with characters that just need orbs, and overall, I think that this character is going to work out very well for stuff like that. The counter that he has is not the best, just because Ki Blast-based supers are not really like the way that bosses have been focusing as of recently. You know, they've kind of went to the combination super attack type, so you have to keep that in mind that this counter is going to be pretty rare. But as you guys know at this point, they do have a taunt, and this taunt, on the specific turn where a boss does not disable the taunt or the disable dodging, it is still like the best taunt in the game. But obviously Beast Gohan and Cell Max, spoiler, they're on this list, are just a little bit more consistent, right? You're gonna have those I can't even talk, those taunts way more consistently, right? So do keep that in mind. That is how that thing is going to work out. So I think that Gogeta Blue, you probably could move down the list if you wanted to put him at 10, if you even wanted to take him off. I think potentially you could make that argument. I think he's good enough to the point where you don't need to do that just yet, but I think he will be at some point. But I think right now, 9 is a decent spot for him. But let's go ahead and move on to number 8. Now, at 8, I have BROLY, and I have full power BROLY over Gogeta right now, solely for the fact that this character does have, the ability to work well with the new BROLY that just came out, right? This is one of the better linking partners for that character. If we look at the links that they are going to be sharing, if we pull up the links right here, where are his links? We have Berserker, which is a very rare link, but you can see he's sharing 6 links with the legendary Super Saiyan Broly. If I pull this up right here, you can see that we are sharing Prepared for Battle, we're sharing Shocking Speed, Super Saiyan, Berserker, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, and that is going to be a total of 6 links. So like when it comes to characters that are going to link up with this character who's one of the best in the game, it doesn't get much better than this guy, right? And then when we go into full power, we're going to just have that ability to start with the domain, which obviously conflicts with Broly a decent bit, or not with the new Broly a decent bit, but just like with the Super Bosses team. But on the movie Bosses team, that is nowhere near as much of an issue as it would be on like the Super Bosses team, because the Super Bosses has Rose, it has Zamasu, it just has some annoying things going on, right? And now that we don't have that, I do think that that is going to be a bit helpful with the movie Bosses team. It just works a little bit better. I do think the movie Bosses team is still needs a little bit of help, but I think it will get there at one point, right? So keep that in mind. This domain is going to make bosses hit very hard. This guy's going to be doing a ton of additional super attacks. You think about new events, like this is the global version, but I'll at least account for my experience on JP. This character works very well in the Bulma event, because the Bulma event requires that you do additional super attacks, and this guy does so many additional super attacks to the point where you want like a skip button for super attacks with how many times he's doing them. So offensively, this guy's putting in a lot of work. Defensively, he can hold his own, and where he can't hold his own defensively, we have other characters on his teams that kind of make up for that, with like Tech Broly, Cell Max, stuff like that. Characters that could sort of redirect the attention and let this guy's domain put in the work that it can do. So number 8, I have Broly. Let's move on to number 7. Now, with number 7, this might come as a surprise, but we have started to reach the point where these new summonable LRs are pushing these guys down, 2 or 3 spots. And that is a good thing. I think it's good for the game when this character, a character this good, like this phenomenal, is at 7. That is a really good sign for the game. So don't take this as negativity at all. I just think that these 6 units above him are a little bit better right now. Now, his direct comparison is UI Goku, who I have at 6. Why do I like UI Goku over Evolution Blue Vegeta right now? I like UI Goku over Evolution Blue Vegeta right now because they have very similar offensive skeletons. I think Vegeta has the more consistent defensive skeleton, but where UI Goku has the advantage over Evolution Blue Vegeta is going to be right in this part, right, where is it? Right here. This long little paragraph right here, right? Revives is 77% HP. So why do I like UI Goku's better? I like it because it doesn't have to do this. You don't have to get hit 5 times anymore. UI Goku, you enter with the condition. When you have, when you go with, I always forget like the exact condition for this one. It's like HP is 77% or less, right? Like once we get under that, we have UI Goku's revival. Compared to Evolution Blue Vegeta, where that is not the case, we have to get hit 5 times. So if we need the revival on turn 2, there's a very high, or a turn 3, there's a very high chance that Evolution Blue Vegeta is not going to have it. But if we get lit up turn 1 and then UI Goku's on turn 2, then we will potentially have this revival with UI Goku. So this is something that doesn't like negate him being able to be ran in fights that disable dodge. If it's a one phase, like the Goku and Frieza fight, where you can bring this guy in, he is going to get lit up in the 17 and Frieza phase. But again, to counteract that, we float him off, we get the revive guaranteed, and then we are good to go. So offensively, I think these characters are putting up very similar outputs. I think the introduction of the Super Saiyan Trio as well is going to put like a bit of a point to Evolution Blue Vegeta in terms of some other things, but again, I think you could argue either or. To me, really, this is like 6A, 6B. Like, if you want to put Evolution Blue Vegeta over UI Goku, I'm completely fine with that. But my character biases, as well as the easier access to the revive is why I have this character a bit higher up on the list right now. So let's move on to number 6, or number 5, excuse me, and that is going to be Tech UI Goku. Now, Tech UI Goku, why do I like this guy a little bit better? It's just because later on in the fight, the domain, I just think that his domain has so much higher of a ceiling than these other characters do right here, and just being able to give the dodge support as well as nullify the enemy's nullification of your dodging. The nullify of a nullify is very Dragon Ball Legends coded. The nullification of a nullification is a very unique aspect to this character that is just unique to this character right now. This is the only character that can do that in the game. So being able to disable that, I think, is going to be very important, giving the dodge support, the offensive output that he has. The defensive output is fine. He takes a hit, then he's going to guard. We have damage reduction, plus additional damage reduction of 35% within the same turn before they receive an attack. So it's like, if that attack is a super and they take it, there is a little bit of damage reduction, but usually they don't survive that in my experience. But it's this guy. It's the guaranteed dodging on the domain turn. It's the counters that he's doing. It's the overall attack that this character has, being able to dodge all of them, countering literally every single one of the attacks, even supers. This character is doing a ton and is making the Reps of Universe 7 team really this is the guy, right? This is the character on the team. And just the way he works with the 6-year LRs, the way he works with the Universe 7 characters, I really like how this character was done, and that is why I have him at number 5. So number 4, I'm sure you guys could figure out who the top 4 in the game are, but let's go ahead and get into number 4. And honestly, I was really tempted to put UI Goku above this character, but I'm not going to do it, and that is going to be BROLY. Now, what do we need to know? We have support with this character, and we have 90% damage reduction in base. That's really what's important. You have the choice to transform him right away, but if you want to save that 90% damage reduction, you can. But if you want to forego it, go with less damage reduction, and immediately get into the attack portion of this character for BROLY, you can do that. So you guys can see he is doing a whole bunch of different things. Again, when you guys keep seeing me look over this way, it's because I'm trying to make sure that you guys can read the passive. That's why. But reduces damage received by 50%, and for 3 turns, we're getting that additional 26% damage reduction. So we're foregoing the 14% damage reduction to do crazy attack stats. I think one thing that is a little bit annoying about this character is that he does have an enemy restriction, and when he doesn't have this enemy thing, like in my experience using this character so far, this has been a character that 24 key has not been a given with. Now, I don't know if that's like a skill issue. I don't know if that's like just kind of the way that the game is right now. But right now, for me, at least when I've been using him in Legendary Super Saiyan form, the 24 key has not just been like a given, right? The enemy or the action disabling is very nice, and being able to get that active skill is also very nice. So it's like, you know, turn 3 or even turn 1, this character is not going to be like where you want him to be. It's going to be turn 3. It's going to be turn 5, where you can get that extra key, and then you can start to notice that the 24 key is a little bit easier to get. But it can be a little bit annoying. Having the 76% damage reduction as well as guard in the first turn, though, is very, very, very good. So I'd really like this character. I think offensively, with the AoE super that he has, with the greatly stacking of his attack, raising the attack on the 12 key, greatly stacking the attack on the 18 key, you can see some really nutty numbers with this character. And offensively, he is doing a lot, and defensively, he has enough to hold it down, and is also a 200%, a pure 200% for a very good team right now with movie bosses. I think movie bosses is like literally like 1 or 2 pieces away from being good. And guess what? We are going to be getting probably a second coming BROLY in part 2. So, and if it's not that, it's going to be Bio BROLY. So either way, the movie bosses team is going to be getting the buffs that we need to see, and that is why I have this character at number 4. So with this, I have BROLY. Again, I really like that the way this character is designed. Offensively, defensively, he's doing a little bit of everything, but just does not reach quite the heights that the other characters on this list do. So let's go ahead and move on to number 3, and that is going to be Cell Max. Now, Cell Max easily could argue number 2, in my opinion, easily, but I think he's number 3. Here we go. I like that this kit doesn't have like a transformation or anything like that, so it's kind of simple to get through. Defensively, this character is a absolute juggernaut, right? When we have the artificial life forms of the super bosses category allies on the team, this is going to be extremely helpful. We have the intro animation, we have guard, we launch an additional attack that's a high chance of becoming a super attack for 3 turns. When you have those, we have the additional key all the time. You're getting built up with attack, you're getting built up with defense. Extra key when you're taking hits. You have additional attacks that have a chance of becoming a super, an additional 250%, and reduces damage by 30% when all allies attack in the same turn, or artificial life form super bosses or movie bosses. So you're running them on movie bosses, you're going to be fine. And then we also have an additional attack plus 250% and a chance of performing a critical hit plus 30% when there are no superheroes attacking in the same turn. So running this guy away from the Gammas, running this guy away from Beast Gohan if you could end up putting them on the same team. But it's mainly just to not, like, it's trying to decentivize you from running this character with the Gammas, right? Like that's the whole big idea of what they want you to do with this character. But he gets a guaranteed super when he takes a hit. So this is going to be like a nice little slot 1 ace for you. And then we get the taunt turn, and you guys know how this taunt works. This is just a wicked defensive buff. Like we're talking this character at like 55% is literally like over 8 million defense on that taunt turn. So there's nothing in the game that's piercing through that right now. It just doesn't exist, right? Like it doesn't exist. It doesn't compute, right? A boss that can hurt this guy on the taunt turn, it does not compute. So that's why I have this guy where he is. I think the way Truth coined it was like he's a mini Beast Gohan, and I completely agree with that. I think that this is something that's going to work very well for this character. Having like a comp to Beast Gohan and saying like you can emulate what Beast Gohan does, that is going to be a super that's super high praise, because that's like saying you're literally like somewhat of the best unit in the game's history. So do keep that in mind. I think you could argue this character at 2. I don't see the argument for number 1, but easily number 2. Let's move on to number 2. And now, I want you guys in the comments to let me know who you think the best unit in the game is, because I think that there is a very strong argument for both of the characters that I have at 1 and 2. At number 2, I have the Super Saiyan Trio. Now, the Super Saiyan Trio, I know. Some of you aren't going to like it. Some of you are going to say that this is the #1 character in the game because of the support that they are providing for the team. I just respectfully disagree. I think Beast Gohan is a little bit better. It's not by much, but really what I am super focused on with this character is it's this down here. This with 2 characters, with 2 of them, is just insane. Permanent 154% defensive support. You guys have to understand how good that is. Like this is, it's something that we really haven't seen before. And it has brought a lot of characters back, right? Like we've talked about the OG Super Saiyan Trio. I say OG, but like, you know, the Super Saiyan Trio from the Super 13 movie. We talk about characters like Orange Piccolo. We talk about characters like AGL Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta from the Metal Cooler movie. We talk about the Boo duo. We talk about the GT duo. These are characters that are just insanely better, or so much better now that we have this rendition of the Super Saiyan Trio. And it just all in all helps with the health of the game. It makes more characters more, you know, viable for a longer period of time. The orb changing that they have means that they're self-sufficient. They're giving Key 3 an attack plus 50 to everybody already. We have damage reduction when receiving a super attack, so if you do take that annoying early super, you have a better chance of surviving it. We have, you know, extra defense when they're receiving an attack for every 3 Key, plus an additional attack plus 150% when Key is 12 or more. We have 2 additional attacks, so it's going to be the additional normal or the super normal super, something like that, right? That's just how it is. When we get to the 24 Keys, when we get attacks effective against all types, and then the wicked support. I could say wicked all day like I'm Future, right? Like that's literally where we're at with this point, right? So standby, we have the standby when HP is 77% or less, or starting from the 5th turn. So this is a very similar mechanic to like the Gogeta Blue or the Tech Gods, as well as the LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's active skill, where the easiest way to say it and like the most like common sense way to understand this is like if you need it, you have it. Right? Your HP is low, you have it. You're at turn 5, you have it. And when you go into this standby and do the standby skill, this is just where you could have a whole lot of fun. You become like a super crazy tank, and then when you do that finish skill, you are going to be doing a massive amount of damage. So what you want to do is build this guy full crit, basically not full crit, but you want to emphasize crit on this character if you're pulling dupes, and then just go to town, like, you know, collect your spheres, do everything you need to do, get that crit up, and try and get that max damage finish skill. So with the support, everything that this character is doing, I absolutely think that this character is going to age fine. Movie Hero, like any character that's on Movie Heroes and they fit under this guy's leader skill, is going to be great, right? Like there's a good chance we get a part 2 LR Gohan and Goten with maybe Trunks, right? Guess what? They're going to fit under Power of Wishes because of the Family Kamehameha thing. They're going to fit under Super Saiyans because Goten and Trunks are Super Saiyans. Gohan's a Super Saiyan in that movie, and they are going to get that extra defensive buff. So hopefully the game or Dokkan doesn't gimp them because they're going to be under the support, but I don't think they will. So keep that in mind. The part 2 LR coming out is probably going to, you know, slide into that top 3 or 4 range with that buff alone. So honestly, I don't want to talk about this guy too much because I've talked about him so much, and at #1 I have Beast Gohan, right? And I know you don't want to hear it. I know people don't want to hear it. Like it's like, you know, they want a new #1, and I get that, but I just can't. I can't bring myself to do it. Why is this character #1 to me? I think that despite the trio, people are calling them like the movie 8 trio, but the Super Saiyan Trio, you guys know who I'm talking about. They are reliant on that 24 Key, and then they are also it's a little bit of RNG in that first turn, where Beast Gohan, you put him in turn 1, you slide him on any team, he's fine. He makes it work. He's the best character on that team. It doesn't matter. He's not restricted to allies. He's not restricted to enemies. He comes in, turn 1, he's giving all that extra Key. He has his own extra Key with the intro buff. He has the guard. He has the damage reduction. He has the taunt. Like, it has nothing to do with restrictions. You don't need 2 allies on the team. You don't need 2 allies on the turn. It's just, he is what he is. What you see is what you get. You see, me, I like units that make me think, but you know what I like better? Units that are good and don't make me think. You put them in slot 1 and you forget about it, right? Sometimes you put him in slot 2 and you're going to do the taunt, but you get what I'm saying. Like, this character he's a little bit of everything. He's a Frankenstein monster of everything that you need in a character. And it just, to me, I think he's still #1. And if you want to argue the trio, that's fine. Everything is fine with that. But to me, I fear change. So I'm going to keep Beast Gohan at #1. But there you have it. So let me know what you guys think. To recap the list, at number 10 and the honorable mention, if you want to put him at 10 too, we could do 10A, 10B with Buhan, but at 10, I have Orange Piccolo. At number 9, I have Gogeta Blue. At number 8, I have Full Power BROLY. At number 7, I have Evolution Blue Vegeta. At number 6, I have AGL UI Goku. At number 5, I have Tech UI Goku. At number 4, I have Tech Super Saiyan wow, I cannot talk. Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. At number 3, I have STR Cell Max. At number 2, I have the physical Super Saiyan Movie 8 Trio. And at number 1, I have the boy Beast Gohan. So there you guys have it. My top 10 for the game right now in September of 2024. We'll do a part 2 update in a few weeks and we'll see how that goes. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.